ठीक है, तो मर्जिंग वाली जो चीज है, दैट इज वेरी कॉमनली फाउंड बहुत से लोगों के, जिन जिन के टास्क भी अभी तक चेक हुए हैं, अभी बहुत थोड़े से चेक हुए हैं, काफी सारे रहते हैं। और वो भी पता नहीं आगे उसमें कितनी कितनी और मिस्टेक्स आती हैं। लेकिन ये मर्जिंग वाली चीज जो है, ये आई थिंक सो के लोगों को क्लियरली समझ में नहीं आई कि मर्ज करने का मकसद क्या है, या मर्ज किन कंडीशंस के ऊपर हमने कर देना है। तो दो कंडीशंस आपने सिर्फ फॉलो करनी है। पहली चीज, आपकी जो टोटल ड्यूरेशन है, वो ड्यूरेशन आपकी जो है वो ना हो रही हो क्या कहते हैं, 15 सेकंड से ऊपर ना जा रही हो। तो यानी 15 सेकंड के अंदर आपको जितना चांस मिलता है सेगमेंट्स को मर्ज करने का, आप कर दें। आप उनको अलहदा मत छोड़ें। अब जैसे ये एक एग्जांपल है कि इसमें एक सेंटेंस इस सेगमेंट के अंदर है, कंप्लीट सेंटेंस है, मीनिंगफुल है। और एक दूसरा सेंटेंस इस सेगमेंट के अंदर कंप्लीट था, और ये भी कंप्लीटली मीनिंगफुल था। दोनों अलग-अलग थे, दोनों की आपस में इतनी रिजेम्बलेंस या रेलेवेंस नहीं थी कि आप कहें कि यही बात उसमें आगे कंटिन्यू हो रही है, नहीं। लेकिन फिर भी हमारे पास 15 सेकंड से की लिमिट अभी यहाँ पे मौजूद है। बीच में थोड़ा सा इनवैलिड टाइम है जो हम जाया कर रहे हैं। तो हम कंप्लीट सेंटेंसेस को जितना हम मर्ज कर सकें, हमने मर्ज कर देना है। यानी कि अगर यहाँ पे वो कह रहा था कि आई लव टू प्ले फुटबॉल, और यहाँ पे वो कहता है कि आई वॉज वॉचिंग अ टीवी शो लास्ट नाइट एंड इट वॉज रियली गुड। आप इन दोनों को भी कंबाइन कर दें। शर्त सिर्फ ये है कि इन दोनों में से कोई जुमला ब्रेक ना हो रहा हो, हाफ में डिवाइड ना हो रहा हो आपके मर्ज करने से। ठीक है गाइज, ये चीज समझ आई आप लोगों को? गाइज बेशक आप लोग माइक पे अगर ऑन करके नहीं बोल रहे तो आप लोग वो कर दें इसको, क्या नाम है, चैट में आप लोग कंफर्म कर दें। ठीक है, क्योंकि ये गलती इसके बाद दोबारा किसी की नहीं आनी चाहिए। ठीक हो गया। तो इसका जो है वो आप क्या नाम है, जनरल रूल माइंड में रख लें कि एक तो बस अगर किसी भी कोई भी कंसेक्टिव सेगमेंट्स हैं जिनके अंदर मीनिंगफुल सेंटेंसेस पड़े हुए हैं, तो आप उसको, अगर उसमें 0.8 सेकंड का गैप नहीं आ रहा और वो आपकी लिमिट के अंदर अंदर है, आप उनको मर्ज कर दें आपस में। ठीक है। बेशक उसमें दो अलग अलग सेंटेंसेस भी हों, तो आपके सेगमेंट के टेक्स्ट के मिड में कहीं पे फुल स्टॉप आना इज कम्प्लीटली फाइन। कि एक सेंटेंस पूरा हुआ, फुल स्टॉप लगा हुआ और उसके आगे अगला सेंटेंस शुरू हो रहा है, दैट इज कम्प्लीटली फाइन, उसमें कोई गलती नहीं है या कोई उसमें मसला नहीं है। लेकिन आप फोकस इस चीज के ऊपर करें कि जितना आप उसको कंबाइन कर सकें 15 सेकंड्स के अंदर, जितने सेगमेंट्स को, दैट इज गुड फॉर यू, और आपने उस तरह से कंबाइन करना है, इस तरह से इस चीज को नहीं छोड़ना। ठीक है, कि एक सेगमेंट अलहदा बना हुआ है, एक अलहदा बना हुआ है, मैक्सिमम लिमिट भी नहीं हुई। ठीक है। अनम, मैं बेसिकली मैं यही चीज करता हूँ कि मैं थोड़ा उर्दू में भी समझा दूंगा, and in parallel I will explain it in English as well for the people who've joined in just now and they don't understand Urdu. So we're going to do this meeting in both languages in parallel so everybody understands. So for the Pakistani team, I have made this point, I guess, very clear how to merge and why to merge. For the people who didn't understand this part, I'm going to repeat it. That, for example, you have two segments, right? As you can see in this screenshot, I'm not sure how big it is visible on your screen or not, but this part is one segment and this part is another segment. Both of these segments have complete sentences within them, which means I'll call this segment A and I'll call this segment B. Segment A has a complete sentence and segment B has a complete sentence. Okay, so one rule is complete, that our segment should have meaningful speech. That is completely satisfied over here. But our focus should be that within the limit of 15 seconds, we combine as many segments as possible. The only condition stopping us from doing that should be there is a 0.5, a 0.8 second gap in the middle. Only in that situation, you cannot combine. Okay. But if there isn't a gap of 0.8 seconds or more than that, then your target should be to join as many segments as you can, regardless that they have separate irrelevant sentences, but they have meaningful sentences. So in that situation, we're going to combine them. Right. So in the chat, we have a question regarding this. Like at times you get consecutive segments, and they're very short segments. Like for example, we have three segments. Every segment just saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. So these three segments, if the gap between these three segments is less than 0.8 seconds, yes, you can combine them, and you should be combining them. Okay, so guys, keep in mind if 15 your maximum limit of 15 seconds is not complete, within this limit, your target should be to combine as much segments as you can. And the only thing is that there should be no sentence that is cut in half. They should all be completely included. Right. And another example of this is over here. This starting segment, the speech in this was only the word yeah, and then there was a complete sentence ahead. But the worker, they did not combine this. So even in this situation, we don't have a gap of 0.8 seconds. So you can combine this yeah part in the next segment. So it all becomes one. This is going to help you guys a lot, that it's going to add a lot of valid time to your task, where you're doing a 42 minutes task and you're getting only, let's say 20 minutes out of it as valid. Maybe you can add on 2 to 3 more minutes in a single task if you follow this approach to combine as many segments as possible. All right, so then this part I've already explained in Urdu, but I'm also going to repeat it over here. And this is a very common mistake found in the task which we have checked up till now. And that is the speaker is repeating a lot of things a lot of times, but the workers are not paying attention to the text written in the box. It's only written once, and they're leaving it as it is. That is wrong. You cannot do that. Even in your guidelines document, this thing is mentioned very clearly in the part where they specify the rule for stuttering, that they given an example that if the person says it will happen, so the person spoke the word will 2 times, and you have to write it 2 times. You cannot just write it like it will happen. So as many times the speaker is repeating something, it should be written exactly in the same amount of times in the text. Like before correction, this sentence, this segment started as there's a lot more involved, but the audio said there's a lot more, there was a lot more involved. Okay, so this difference keep in mind. The next one is this mistake. Almost I've checked like 3 to 4 tasks yesterday, and everybody did not make this correction. This is also even mentioned in the guidelines. You can see over here, this is the standard form of magic data. You can review the training videos again. I also mentioned that this is the standard form of writing magic data, and everybody left it as the machine wrote it. The machine puts basically, the screenshot was a little bit small. I'm also going to share this document later on, but the machine adds a space. It writes magic and then gives a space and then writes data. And nobody bothered to remove the space from the middle. So this indicates that you guys are only following one point in the training part, that the text is accurate. You're not paying attention to if it actually is accurate or not. This is the one thing which I got from every task which I have checked up till now. A lot of places, machine wrote something and you just left it like this. You did not even bother to change it. So guys, keep in mind, yes, the text is accurate. The machine is very accurate. It's giving very correct text, but it's also missing some things at points. It's also misspelling words. It's also writing some wrong words at some points where the speaker spoke very fast. Because if on that so much fast speaking, the machine was 100% accurate, then there was absolutely no need for us to be doing this project. This project would never have came out. So pay attention to what is written and what is being spoken. If from here onwards, after this training, whatever work you do, if we find these mistakes again, that means you're still not paying attention and you will simply be removed from the project and your ID is going to go to somebody else who can pay attention. Okay? तो गाइज ये चीज आप लोगों ने लाजमी इसी तरीके से एग्जैक्टली फॉलो करनी है कि स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म्स जो होती हैं उनको स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म में लिखा जाता है। इस मैजिक डेटा की जो ऑप्शन है जो सॉरी एग्जांपल है वो गाइडलाइंस डॉक्यूमेंट में आपको दी हुई है कि इसके बीच में स्पेस नहीं होती, लेकिन मशीन जब इसको ट्रांसक्राइब करती है तो मशीन ने इसमें स्पेस दी हुई होती है, लेकिन आप लोग उस स्पेस को रिमूव नहीं करते। तो ये चीज़ बिल्कुल भी नहीं होनी चाहिए। So, guys, next up is the missing model sounds. This is also a very common case which we found in the task we were checking. Uh, a lot of places, the person is saying a lot of modal sounds, and while we see the task, it is very obvious that you did not bother to you can say look at the text or match it with the speech because we did not find any modal sounds written in most of your work. So that means you're not paying attention. And in the training parts, I have already um okay, Guria, I'll come back to that. So modal sounds, as I mentioned in the training, I have very clearly told this in all the training videos as well, that the machine is not transcribing modal sounds. So it means wherever there is a modal sound, machine is bound to miss it. It's not writing it. So you have to write it down. Even in this example over here, uh, the screenshot is a little bit small, but these two arrows indicate that there were two modal sounds spoken, and the arrow is pointed where they should be added, but they weren't added. And this is a very common case for everyone. A lot of people are completely missing this out. They're not adding modal sounds. And the general perspective which I am getting, and I'm again and again emphasizing this point, is because when I check the work, when a QC worker checks your work, they can easily judge why the mistake happened. Okay. Like this magic data, no space was removed. I know system generates it like this. Okay. But if the space is not removed, it means you did not even try to fix it. Same way, modal sounds, it's already been told in the trainings that you have to add modal sounds. And if the modal sounds are missing, that also means you're not paying attention to the text, which is written in the on the platform by the machine. The merging point, okay, this is one point I can understand that maybe the concept was not very clear in your mind when you were doing your first task. So this is something that can happen. But now you're going to get these tasks back on your account and you have to fix all of these mistakes which we discussed. Okay, so Guria's question is to repeat the point about how we can merge sounds like system sounds or in different chunks. How can we combine that? Okay, so Guria, this is a different question from what we have covered up till now, because if you're talking about merging system sounds, you actually don't need to merge system sounds. When they're happening independently, you don't need to merge them at all. You only merge the actual person sound. Like you have, for example, three consecutive segments. The machine made different segments, and all of them have yeah, 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 or yeah, okay, okay then. So these kind of segments, if they are coming like small segment for yeah, small segment for okay, small segment for okay, then if these segments do not have 0.8 seconds or more gap in the middle, you can also combine all of these segments into one. It's going to help you a lot because it's going to add a lot of valid time to your complete duration. Okay, so just a second. All right. Okay, so let's move ahead. So guys, basically, okay. तो ये वाली मॉडल साउंड वाली चीज जो है, मैं इसको उर्दू में भी रिपीट कर देता हूँ। कि बहुत सी जगहों के ऊपर स्पीकर जो है वो इस तरह की आवाजें निकालते हैं बात करते हुए, ठीक है, एंड दिस इज वेरी नेचुरल। मैं भी अभी बात कर रहा हूँ, आई एम ऑल्सो गोइंग टू मेक सम नॉइजेज लाइक आई डिड तो ये वाली जो इस तरह की मॉडल साउंड्स होती हैं, द मशीन इज नॉट ट्रांसक्राइबिंग इट। मशीन ट्रांसक्रिप्शन जो आपको सेगमेंट्स में आ रही होगी, ये चीज मैंने बड़ी क्लियर पहले बताई हुई है ट्रेनिंग्स में भी, कि मॉडल साउंड्स मशीन ट्रांसक्राइब नहीं कर
पकोड़े
रही।
भी चाहिए।
अच्छा, मुझे लगता है कोई और भी पकोड़े खा रहा है। डोंट वरी गाइस, मैं भी साथ साथ पकोड़े खा रहा हूँ, तो अगर कोई और भी खा रहा है तो एंजॉय। तो मॉडल साउंड्स जितनी बार भी आपके उसमें आ रही होंगी, आपने उनको एग्जैक्टली उतनी बार लिखना है। ये भी जो एग्जांपल है, ये मैं डॉक्यूमेंट आप लोगों को दे दूंगा, ठीक है। इसमें भी आप देख सकेंगे कि टेक्स्ट में स्टार्ट में भी एक मॉडल साउंड थी, नहीं लिखी गई, मिड में भी एक मॉडल साउंड थी, वो भी नहीं लिखी गई। इसी तरह के बहुत सारे जो केसेस हैं, वो उनमें यही था कि जो है मॉडल साउंड्स कहीं पे भी लिखी हुई आ ही नहीं रही। तो उसका मतलब यही है कि वो चीज देख के जो भी बंदा आपका काम चेक कर रहा होता है, मैं करूं, कोई और क्यूसी चेक करे, जवेरिया आपका काम चेक करें, कल को हम कोई और क्यूसी भी ट्रेन करके बिठा देते हैं, तो देखने वाले को देखते साथ पता चल जाता है कि ये गलती क्यों हुई है। और ये एक इतनी कॉमन मिस्टेक है कि ये सिर्फ इसी वजह से हो रही है क्योंकि आप लोग सेगमेंट्स के टेक्स्ट के ऊपर ध्यान दे ही नहीं रहे। ठीक है, कि क्या चीज किस तरह से होनी चाहिए थी, क्या चीज जो है वो किस तरह लिखी जानी चाहिए थी, क्या क्या चीजें जो हैं वो ऑडियो के अंदर आ रही हैं वो एक्चुअल में टेक्स्ट में लिखी हुई भी हैं या नहीं, आप लोग ये चीजें नहीं देख रहे, जिस वजह से ये कॉमन मिस्टेक्स आ रही हैं। तो इन चीजों का आपने ध्यान करना है। ठीक है, अब दूसरी चीज है, हिबा आपका क्वेश्चन है कि कैपिटल में मर्ज होने वाले फिर स्मॉल लेटर्स में ही रहेंगे फिर। हाँ जी, ठीक है। इसमें देखें, एक चीज है कि आप लोगों ने ये रूल याद रखना है, ये गाइडलाइंस में भी आपके लिखा हुआ है कि कैपिटलाइजेशन की तब तक जरूरत नहीं है जब तक कोई प्रॉपर नाउन नहीं आ जाता। ओके गाइज, सो basically what we're discussing right now, I'm trying to keep both languages in parallel. At times I forget that I keep continuing in Urdu, and at times I forget I keep continuing in English, so I'm just gonna try to keep the both in parallel. So right now what we were discussing is about capitalization. um, you have to keep one rule in mind: there is no need for capitalization until you find a proper noun in the speech. Okay, so it means you only capitalize if you're writing down a proper noun. Other than that, there is no need of capitalization at all. Even in the start of a segment, even at the end of the segment, you don't need to capitalize unless there is a proper noun. This one rule, everybody keep in mind, that you can just simply think that if there is the word I, like I do this, I do that, that I, and any other proper noun, only then you're allowed to capitalize. Other than that, you're not allowed to capitalize at all. तो ये रूल गाइस सब जहन में रख लें कि कैपिटलाइजेशन सिर्फ तभी होगी जब आपके पास कोई प्रॉपर नाउन आएगा, बाकी सेगमेंट के स्टार्ट में कैपिटलाइज उसको करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है। What can we do when some audios are just shorter than 5 seconds and another is present at the length of more than 0.8 seconds? ओके, गुड क्वेश्चन। इसमें आता है कि अगर आपके पास एक वर्ड भी है ना, ठीक है, even if there is a one word spoken, you have to make the segment. Okay? This is for actual speech. I'm not talking about the parts where you have invalid sounds like system sound or just this kind of sound. I'm not talking about those at the moment. Right now, I'm talking about the actual spoken words. तो एक्चुअल स्पोकन वर्ड आपके पास कहीं पे भी आता है तो उसके ऊपर सेगमेंट होना चाहिए। even if that word is less than 0.5 second, it should be segmented. Typically you will always find a segment already made on that part. You're not going to have to make it by yourself. uh, the places where you see that on the audio wave there's some small sound and there is no segment made on that, um, that is only because that sound is definitely not a speech part, that will be a system sound. So for system sounds or for noises, if they are less than 0.5 seconds, you don't need to make a segment on them. If they occur within the speech, then you have to make them separately into a segment and mark the tag. Otherwise, don't do it. Okay, guys, understood up till here? Okay, so now, Korea, coming towards the next part of your question, that if on the audio wave, the segment is less than 0.5 second or the sound part is less than 0.5 second and it's not speech. It's just some random sound, like maybe a door knock, maybe somebody just did a cough or they just sneezed, and that was less than 0.5 second, and it was separate from your ongoing speech segments. So if it's occurring separately, like maybe I say, if you can see the screen, uh, let's just say that over here where my mouse is, there was just this kind of a random sound, and there is no segment made on it. So you don't need to make it if it's less than 0.5 seconds. If it's more than 0.5 seconds, then you cannot leave it. Then you need to segment it and add the most appropriate tag, which you can use to indicate that this is the situation. Either it's a system sound, either it's a, you can say, ENS tag is to be used, like it's an ambient noise or something. So then you have to do it. ओके हिबा, इस चीज को आप अभी इसको थोड़ा सा जरा जो है ना वेट कर लें। ठीक है, अगर थोड़ा आगे जाके मीटिंग के एंड के करीब हम ये पॉइंट डिस्कस नहीं करते तो आप मुझे दोबारा मैसेज कर दीजिएगा, मैं इस चीज़ का आपको समझा दूंगा। All right, so guys, moving forward now, let's head over to the actual platform. And okay, on this, there is already a task ongoing, so I'm just going to open that up. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to open a task. So basically, what we do is we uh, see the situation of the work which we're getting. Okay, how to remove this annotation on the screen. All right, I'm unable to find this option to remove this straight line, whoever annotated this. Okay. So Amjad, I'm guessing maybe you fixed some of the mistakes and then marked them qualified, right? Okay, let's move on. Let me share the audio sound. Okay.
All right. So for this one, we're going to be talking about history. So all right.
Right over here, also another mistake. The speaker in the audio, they're saying we're gonna be talking about history. So we have to write gonna be. We're not going to change it to going to be. Okay, so it should be like this.
We need
Then,
to say this first. Magic data sound recording.
okay.
Okay. All right. So history. Now, um, of course, this is not my specialist subject. It's yours. So we'll go with it. Okay. All right. Now, I remember learning about history in school. Okay. All right. So history. Now, I remember learning about history in school. To be honest with you, I don't really remember too much about the contents of it, but I always did find it quite fascinating. Now, I
Guys, just a second. Let me find a way to remove this annotation first. जवेरिया, ये एनोटेशन आपको मूव करनी आती है? अच्छा, हाँ ठीक है, होगी। Okay, so as I was saying, a lot of people are missing out the repetition in the task. Let's listen to this carefully. Focus on this part. Okay, just focus when the person says honestly about it, and then he starts saying this, I don't really remember too much. Just listen to this part.
Now, I remember learning about history in school. To be honest with you, I don't.
Okay, just listen to this
To be
part
honest with
again.
you, to be honest with you, to be honest with you,
The person spoke I two times, and again, it's written here only just one time. So basically, it should be written like this. Okay, and now,
now, can you remember any?
right, another spelling mistake. This is probably because the machine wrote it. No, the person is not saying no, they're saying now. So there should be an OW. This is a spelling mistake.
Interesting. Maybe I must have done the same thing. I do remember learning about the Celts and stuff, but specifics I couldn't really. Interesting. Maybe I must have done the same thing. I do remember learning about the Celts and stuff, but specifics I couldn't really. I can't really remember too much. Interesting. Maybe I. Maybe I must have done the same thing. I do remember learning about the Celts and stuff, but specifics I couldn't really. I can't really remember too much. Interesting. Maybe I. Interesting. Maybe I must have done the same thing. I do remember learning about the Celts and stuff, but specifics I couldn't really. I can't really. I do remember.
ओके गाइज, मेरा माइक म्यूट हुआ हुआ था, मुझे वो नहीं था, मैंने देखा ही नहीं। तो इस सेगमेंट में गाइज आप लोगों को अभी नजर आया होगा कि ये चीज जो है ये मैंने अभी लिखी है यहाँ पे। ठीक है। और दूसरी चीज जो है वो यहाँ पे, हाँ, इधर उस लिखा हुआ नहीं था, वर्कर ने यानी कि नहीं लिखा हुआ था। ठीक है। तो गाइस सिंपल सी चीज है कि ये देखते साथ पता चल जाता है कि बंदे ने कितना ध्यान दिया होगा। अब बंदे ने कुछ ध्यान जरूर दिया है, क्योंकि इसमें काफी सारी पंक्चुएशन मार्क्स एडेड हैं जो कि इतने ज्यादा मशीन नहीं डालती। ठीक है। मुजम्मिल, अगर कोई क्वेश्चन पूछना है तो आप माइक ऑन बेशक रख लें, वरना आपके बैकग्राउंड का शोर आ रहा है बार बार, मैं इसलिए म्यूट कर रहा हूँ आपको। तो अब यहाँ पे हमने ऑडियो सुना, ऑडियो में उसने, अब बंदे ने यहाँ पे इतना ध्यान दिया था कि पंक्चुएशंस भी डाली हैं, ये मॉडल साउंड भी डली हुई है, तो यानी ये वर्कर ने डाली है। ठीक है। लेकिन आगे पूरा एक पार्ट उसने बोला हुआ था और उसके बाद उसने बात आगे अपनी कंटिन्यू की थी। स्पीकर ने बोला कि आई कांट रियली रिमेम्बर टू मच, और ये वाला पार्ट पूरा का पूरा वर्कर ने मिस किया हुआ था। तो गाइस सीधी सी बात है, अगर मुझे देख के ये पता चल रहा है कि ये ध्यान ना देने की वजह से हुआ है, तो क्यूसी को भी पता चलेगा और क्लाइंट को भी पता चलेगा। ये चीज बेसिकली क्लाइंट को गुस्सा चढ़ाने वाली और तपाने वाली होती है। ठीक है। कि आप उनको उस क्वालिटी का काम दे रहे हो कि जिसको देखते साथ उनको पता चल जाए कि लोग ध्यान से काम ही नहीं कर रहे। ठीक है। वो इस चीज का फिर जवाब जो है एट द एंड वो हमें देना पड़ता है कि भाई आपने इस तरह के लोग क्यों बिठाए हुए हैं जो ध्यान दे के काम ही नहीं कर रहे। तो मेक श्योर कि आप ऑडियो को सुने, अंदर एक बारी जो लिखा हुआ है उसको भी देख लें, और उसको मैच करके देख लें कि जो चीज बोली जा रही है क्या वो कंप्लीटली लिखी हुई भी है या नहीं लिखी हुई। अच्छा, दानियाल का क्वेश्चन है कि व्हाट इफ द होल सेंटेंस इज क्लियर बट वन वर्ड और टू वर्ड इजंट क्लियर विद इन द सेंटेंस, और लेट्स से इफ देयर इज अ systematic sound within the sentence that we're going to make separate segment for that. जी दानियाल, उसका सेगमेंट जो है वो सेपरेट बनेगा। मैं अभी थोड़ा सा इस टास्क को देखने के बाद मैं टैग्स वाली चीज़ के ऊपर आता हूँ। टैग्स वाली चीज़ आप सबको मैं एक बारी कंप्लीटली डिटेल में दोबारा से समझाऊंगा, क्योंकि ये वाला पार्ट जो था ट्रेनिंग के अंदर मैंने खुद भी मिस किया था। उसके बाद मैंने अपडेट हर ग्रुप में पहुंचा दी थी, लेकिन मे बी अगर वो आप लोगों को समझ में नहीं आई तो मैं जो है वो उस पे वो कर देता हूँ। आप लोगों को एक बारी कंप्लीट इसका गो थ्रू दे देता हूँ ताकि आप लोगों को वो चीज़ पता हो। अच्छा, तो लेट्स मूव ऑन। मैं आगे, अब ये कुछ सेगमेंट्स जो हैं वो ऑलरेडी चेक हैं, अमजद आपने इनको क्वालिफाई मार्क किया हुआ है। मैं अब आगे थोड़ा सा जाता हूँ जो सेगमेंट्स चेक नहीं है उन पे।
The level of intelligence there is incredible, but are often deemed as the most intelligent species on the planet. And it just the level of intelligence there is incredible, but are often deemed as the most intelligent species. The level of intelligence there is incredible, but are often deemed as the most intelligent species on the planet. And the level of intelligence there is incredible, but are often deemed as the most.
ठीक है, यहाँ पे भी जो है इसके बाद उसने बड़ा स्पीड में लेकिन उसने किया है। ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे भी इसकी मॉडल साउंड डली हुई होनी चाहिए थी। सेम वे आगे जाते हैं।
You'd think we would learn from World War One and World War Two. Look, we can't allow things to get to this stage again because it's always the innocent that just get. You'd think that the level of intelligence that affected the most by these kind of wars. It's always the innocent, and you'd think, as I said, that humans would learn, but actually, affected the most by these kind of wars. It's always the innocent. We never do learn, and you just think, well, it's just a matter of time before World War Three or something like that happens again because we are a very strange species when it comes to.
Okay, again, and this part, there's he said we two times and it's written only one time. So means the worker did not, either they didn't catch it or they didn't focus enough to listen to it, that it's repeated. So this kind of mistakes, if we keep going on in all the tasks, we're going to find a million mistakes, I'm pretty sure right now. So which is why I will guide you guys about the future course, how things are going to go. ठीक है guys, तो अभी बेसिकली जो हो रहा है वो इस तरह से है कि हम क्यूसी कर रहे हैं, लेकिन अगर हम क्यूसी पार्ट पे बैठ के, बेशक ये बहुत छोटी छोटी सी मिस्टेक्स हैं लेकिन ये इतनी ज़्यादा बार रिपीट हुई हुई हैं कि अगर हम इनको ठीक करने बैठे तो शायद अगला एक हफ्ता तो सिर्फ जो अभी तक सबमिटेड डेटा है हमारा उसी के ऊपर निकल जाए। ठीक है, कि मतलब हमें वो जो है क्या कहते हैं, हम बैठ के ठीक करते रहेंगे और जो आगे का डेटा है वो उसी तरीके से फंसा रहेगा। मैं आप लोगों को कुछ क्लियर चीज़ बता देता हूँ डेटा की सिचुएशन क्या है, क्योंकि आई थिंक सो there will be a lot of people in the meeting who are actually waiting for data upload and then taking their first task, and they haven't been able to take a task in the past 2-3 days. So I understand that this is probably the situation of maybe uh, 10 to 15 people out of the 23 people who are here in the meeting. Could be different number, but the point is that I know what's going on. So I'm just going to guide you guys on how things are going to move. The new data upload is paused until we clear our previous data, which I'm going to show you over here. These are the two batches which we have worked on. All right. We have submitted 45 tasks on this batch P03 UK English, and we've submitted 28 tasks on this P02 UK English. Now, as the QC, we need to check all of these tasks. Okay. Once we check, if we are finding the situation same as the task which I opened right now, that almost in every segment there is at least one or two mistakes. Either words are missing. Sir, please, as a sample, you set the audio and record it for once as an example. So our beginning, so we're finding difficulties at some points. Guria, yes, I completely understand that. I'm not saying that everybody will be 100% professional starting off right now. This thing we completely understand, and that is the reason why this meeting has been called. I could, if I was expecting that everybody is 100% professional on this platform, and then I saw these mistakes, I could simply have removed the people, but I can understand that it's new. It's something you haven't done before, and this is probably the first time you're doing it. Secondly, the audios which you're getting, maybe UK English, UK English content you've never heard before, or you haven't done transcription on it, and this is uh, practically a faster accent than American English and than any other English. The UK English is spoken very fast. So I can understand that the practice factor is there, that you need more practice to become more perfect. And that is the whole point of this retraining, to let you guys know of the points again. Repeat this training part again, tell you guys these things again, so you can practice them more. So what's gonna happen right now is that from these tasks, the tasks which we find, which is going to be the case most of the times, that small mistakes are repeatedly done, we're going to send these tasks back to your account as rework. How you can find it is you go to annotation task, and when you have a rework task, you will see it in here. This to be revised, it will show you some number, either one, either two, as many number of tasks that have been returned to your account. Where you can find these tasks is go to details. Okay. And over here, right now it's no data. You have these sections on the top: ongoing, to be revised, submitted, and qualified. So you go to be revised. If you have, you see a number on the page before, the page we saw before. If you see to be revised, there is a number 1 or 2. It means 1 or 2 tasks have been returned. This is basically the place where you will find those rework tasks. ठीक है गाइस, ये चीज समझ आई है आप लोगों को? अगर रीवर्क आएगा तो आपने एनोटेशन टास्क के ऊपर जाना है, बैच के ऊपर टू बी रिवाइज्ड के अंदर कुछ नंबर आपको चेंज हुआ हुआ नजर आ रहा होगा, वो 0 नहीं होगा अगर आपका टास्क रीवर्क में आया हुआ है तो 1 होगा या 2 होगा। आप डिटेल्स पे जाते हैं, डिटेल्स में जाके आपके पास ये सेक्शन है: ऑन गोइंग, टू बी रिवाइज, सबमिटेड और क्वालिफाइड। तो आपका जो रीवर्क वाला टास्क है वो आपको इधर टू बी रिवाइज्ड के सेक्शन में शो हो जाएगा। जैसे ही आपके पास रीवर्क आता जाएगा, आपने उसी टाइम के ऊपर उसके ऊपर काम स्टार्ट कर देना है। एज द QC, we're trying to speed up to clear this data as fast as possible, and I've only asked the client to give us 2 days, which means today and tomorrow. So they want us to clear everything till Sunday afternoon. Otherwise, after that, they will start releasing the data for other teams to pick it up. So whenever we recycle a task, what we can do as the QC, we will mention the ID in your groups, and we will tell that this ID has a task return. You have to immediately go to that part and start doing the rework. Now, how to deal with this rework? You're going to find one of the two errors on your some segments. It will either be a text error or it's going to be a label error. ठीक है गाइस, जो आप लोगों को रिवर्क आएगा उसके अंदर आप लोगों को कुछ सेगमेंट्स के ऊपर एरर्स जो हैं वो मार्क हुए हुए नजर आएंगे। या वो टेक्स्ट एरर होगा या वो लेबल एरर होगा। अब मैं आपको समझा देता हूँ कि अगर आपको टेक्स्ट एरर आता है तो उसका क्या मतलब है। If you get a text error on your segment as unqualified, that means a few things. Number one, either you missed some repeated words. Number two, either you did not capitalize somewhere where there was a word I or there was a proper noun. Number three, modal sounds are missing. Number four, some word is written wrong. Okay. And missing words, wrong words, missing modal sounds, and missing capitalization. Yeah, these four things are all categorized under one error, which is the text error. So if you find a text error, these are the things you need to look for, not just in that segment. You need to go through your whole task and see if you've done this mistake somewhere else as well. तो guys, अगर आपको टेक्स्ट एरर आता है तो टेक्स्ट एरर का मतलब यही होगा कि आपने या तो कैपिटलाइजेशन नहीं की, या मॉडल साउंड्स मिस की हुई है, या कोई वर्ड्स गलत लिखे हुए आपने उनको ठीक नहीं किया, ठीक है, या तो जो है आपने कहीं पे कैपिटलाइजेशन मिस की हुई है। तो ये चार चीजें जो हैं ये आपके पास जो हैं वो टेक्स्ट एरर मार्क हुआ हुआ आएगा। Second one is label error. Label error basically means that you made a segment and you put a tag over there. Either that tag is wrong. That can be two things. Uh, Number one is you should have used some other tag, or number two is that you should listen to that part of the audio carefully because that part can be transcribed, but you labeled it as invalid and you put a tag in that place. So लेबल एरर का गाइस मतलब यही होगा कि या तो आपने टैग गलत यूज किया हुआ है कि वहां पे कोई और टैग यूज होना चाहिए था, या तो उसका मतलब ये होगा कि आपने वहां पे कोई अनइंटेलिजिबल का टैग यूज किया हुआ है, लेकिन अगर आप उसको ध्यान से सुने तो वो स्पीच इजीली ट्रांसक्राइबेबल है। सो गाइस, कीप these 6 things in mind. Capitalization error, missing modal sounds, missing words, or wrong words, or missing repeated words. These things fall under text error. And if you've used some tag wrong, or if you've chosen invalid wrong, that the segment should either be invalid and you choose it valid, or the segment should be valid and you've chosen it invalid, these things, or if you've used a wrong text, these two things will be categorized under label errors. And the reason to do that is that we cannot write down each description of every mistake which you did because you made too many mistakes. Okay, so it would be much more easier for us to fix everything instead of writing whole long paragraphs to explain to you what the problem is in your work. So that is why we've categorized it into two parts. And I'll also show you guys how these two errors look. And it's better I send you guys a screenshot that will be much more easily explained. Let's just wait for a second to load. गाइज, अभी तक जो चीजें हमने डिस्कस की हैं उसमें अगर कोई क्वेश्चन है तो आप लोग पूछ सकते हैं. दिस इज ऑल्सो फॉर द फॉरेन टीम. Guys, if there is any question which you haven't understood or you want explanation on that part again, you can ask.
All right. So for this.
Okay, so I'll make it a little bit longer. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to send you guys the screenshot for both of these errors because these errors are probably going to show up in Chinese. They will not be translated in English when you get the rework. So this left one, this has this starting symbols like this. This means it's a text error. And this one, which is like too much written, I don't know how to explain this kind of writing, but this one basically indicates that it's a label error. I'm also going to send you guys a screenshot so you can know which error means what. And how we've classified these two errors, I've already explained that anything related to text missing or wrong written, you're going to get it as a text error. Anything labeled wrong, either wrong tag or either wrong classification that it's invalid or valid, it's going to be labeled as this one as label error. So whatever error you get, you can get the idea from that what kind of mistakes we found in your work, and you have to review your whole task based on that. Okay, so yeah, there was a question in the middle. अच्छा, सर मेरा वर्क कंप्लीट हो गया बट सबमिट नहीं हो रहा, और इसमें आ रहा है कि 3 सेगमेंट ड्यूरेशन के हिसाब से नहीं है। अच्छा हेबा, इसके लिए जो है ना, आप मुझे अपने उस सेगमेंट की जो है ना कंप्लीट एक स्क्रीनशॉट मुझे भेज दीजिएगा, मैं देख के आपको इसका हल बता दूंगा कि ये कैसे होगा। ठीक है। कभी कभी रैंडमली भी कोई इस तरह का एरर आ जाता है प्लेटफॉर्म में। ठीक है। लेकिन जो है वो कभी कभी ये भी होता है कि कोई ना कोई गलती हुई भी होती है। Some clarifications you didn't make in English, please consider all. Guys, basically what I'm doing is that I explain something in English and then I give the translated version of Urdu again for the Pakistani team. So I am pretty sure that I did make the clarifications in English. If you heard something which you think was spoken in Urdu but not explained in English, you can just write it down in chat so I can know, because I spoke too much and I don't remember everything I said. So you can just list it down in the chat and I will go through it again. No problem in that. अ, ठीक है अमजद, ये हाँ ठीक है, ये मैंने आपकी स्क्रीनशॉट मुझे मिल गया। You'll send the recording, we go through. Yeah, yeah, I can give you guys the recording. That is not a problem. But if there is something which you think was discussed but not explained in English, you can tell me right now. So even if there comes a question, we can have the answer to it right now. All right, so let's talk about a few errors that you guys get when you are
We
basically
need to say this
making,
first.
when you're basically trying to submit your task. तो मनीषा, इस चीज को हम डिस्कस करने लगे हैं बेसिकली कि कभी कभी ये जो आप लोगों को एरर्स आ रहे होते हैं सबमिट करते हुए, ये क्यों आते हैं। नंबर वन थिंग, if there is this kind of an icon anywhere in your any segment, the platform is going to give you an issue that it will not allow you to submit because semicolon is not allowed. Secondly, when it gives you some errors that you're using too many dots, it doesn't mean that you use the full stop too much. It means that in that segment, the dots are written something like this. If you can see the screen, there are three dots like we normally represent it in our text, like the person is just saying something and it's just, okay, continuous, or the person just stays quiet. In any case, you're not allowed to use consecutive punctuation marks. Consecutive punctuation marks, guys, आप लोग नहीं यूज कर सकते। ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि दो फुल स्टॉप्स इकट्ठे लगे हुए हो। जब भी लगे हुए होंगे तो प्लेटफॉर्म आपको लाजमी एरर देगा कि आप सबमिट उसको नहीं कर सकते। This thing was also explained during the trainings, that you cannot put these 3 dots or 2 dots together. Wherever a dot is coming, it should be single. It cannot have more than 1 dot in the single place without having a word in the middle. So one thing is this. Second thing is that a lot of times you're getting an error. Now we're basically going to move our training part towards our tag usage, how we can use our tags. So please make sure that you pay attention to this part, because otherwise you're going to completely keep doing it wrong over and over again. And secondly, you're gonna keep getting the errors while submitting your task that you're using a label with the text segment and it's not allowed. तो हम पहले जाते हैं अपनी गाइडलाइंस के ऊपर और हम गाइडलाइंस में खोल लेते हैं अपने टैग्स को। उसके बाद मैं आप लोगों को ये चीज़ भी समझाता हूँ कि जब आप अक्सर सबमिट कर रहे होते हैं तो वो लेबल्स वाला एरर आपको देता क्यों है कि जी ये लेबल जो है ये टेक्स्ट के साथ अलाउड नहीं है। गिव मी 1 सेकेंड गाइस। Okay, Gopal, I just read your message. Guys, in the next 30 to 40 seconds, what you can do is in the chat box, whatever queries you have related to the labels and tags, basically these tags, these are also called as labels. So whatever queries you have, you can list them down in the chat. Then what we will do is I will explain these tags and their usage, and then we will go through each of your questions. ठीक है गाइस, टैग से रेलेवेंट कोई भी क्वेश्चन है आप लोगों का तो आप चैट बॉक्स में लिख दें। ठीक है। हम अपनी जो है एक्सप्लेनेशन जो है इसकी टैग यूजेज की स्टार्ट करते हैं। फिर उसके बाद जितने क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे टैग से रेलेवेंट लिखे हुए होंगे उनको हम वन बाय वन सारों को जो है वो उसको डिस्कस भी कर लेंगे ताकि सबको समझ में भी आ जाए। सो गाइस, tags, what are tags? Why we use some tags? Tags are basically some indicators that point out some specific events that happened in your speech. Okay? Tags basically कुछ ऐसे पॉइंटर्स होते हैं जो आप लोगों को जो मशीन को कुछ स्पेसिफिक इवेंट्स ऑडियो के अंदर अकर होने की इंडिकेशन देते हैं। ठीक है, कि उन चीज़ों को फिर हमें पूरा लिखना नहीं पड़ता, मशीन उस टैग से समझ जाती है कि यहाँ पे कुछ इस तरह की चीज़ आई थी। सो गाइज, you have some categories of your tags. Number one is independent tag, and number two is obvious tag. So a tag that is only obvious, that has to be 0.5 seconds or more. Now, what do I mean by this statement? For example, we take the tag as laughter. If this tag is coming independently from the speech, like, I mean, this was your complete speech up till like we're going and going speech, then there's a gap and then there's only laughter. So you will make a separate segment for that laughter and use the laughter tag to indicate it only if it is 0.5 seconds or more than that. If it's less than that, then you will not do it. But if this same laughter is coming within the speech, then the 0.5 second rule does not apply because the laughter tag is obvious and also independent. Guys, whenever there is a tag that is independent, it means you have to make a separate segment for that tag. You cannot use that tag within the speech. ठीक है गाइज, ये जो जितने टैग्स के आगे भी आपके पास गाइडलाइन में इंडिपेंडेंट लिखा हुआ है ना, ऑब्वियस लिखा है या नहीं लिखा उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा, लेकिन इंडिपेंडेंट जिस जिसके आगे लिखा हुआ है, अगर ये टैग्स स्पीच के बीच में कहीं पे यूज करने पड़ते हैं तो आप इनको सेम सेगमेंट में यूज नहीं कर सकते। आपने इनका सेगमेंट वहीं पे अपना वैलिड वाला सेगमेंट जो है वो उसको ब्रेक करके और आगे आपने इनवैलिड सेगमेंट एक बनाना है उस चीज का और वहां पे वो टैग यूज कर देना है। ठीक है। I'll also explain this part on the audio wave as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to find this exact situation in the audio, so we'll just take an example. अच्छा, अब इधर आप लोगों के पास एक ये segment है. Okay, so guys, we're gonna consider that this is one complete segment, and in the middle, this is something that has to be labeled with a tag. Okay, let's assume that this is either PII, maybe some name or some address or something. Or we can also consider that this was a laughter. Okay. How to deal with this? If this was your segment,
Of course, this
you're you can see that you're not allowed you're unable to use these tags. I'm clicking on them, but the platform is not adding any of these tags to my speech. Okay. The reason that is chosen on one. One means a valid speech segment. It cannot have label in it. Okay. So how to deal with this? You need to make a separate segment for this part and use the tag for that segment and continue your valid speech separate from this. How to do it? It's gonna happen like this.
Okay, all right. So history. Now, okay, all right. So history. Now, okay.
Okay, I end my one tag up till here. Then
Um, um,
now the person is saying, but we're going to just take an example that maybe this is some laughter. So what I do for this separate segment, which I've made over here, I click this 0 option and I add this laughter tag. And then for the next part, I make the separate again like this.
of course, this is not my
Okay, guys, ये चीज समझ में आई है सबको? Guys, everybody needs to confirm if you've understood the example which we discussed over here, or if you did not understand, I can do this thing one more time again, or even 5 times again. That's not a problem, but you need to confirm if you have understood what happened over here. And while you guys confirm, I'm going to eat my pakora. Okay, so from the participants, we have a question over here that if that part is coming within the segment and it cannot be cut clean, I guess मेरा आपका यही सवाल है कि अगर फॉर एग्जांपल ये यहाँ पे लाफ्टर आया हुआ होता, ये मतलब इसको कट करना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल है, तो तब क्या करना है, राइट? अच्छा, so guys, if the question is that for example, I let me
of course,
remove
this is not my. Now,
remove
I
these
remember learning about history in school. To be honest with
and I'll move it back like the way it was before I even started changing it.
okay.
Okay, so let us consider that the laughter part is somewhere around let's say this part. Okay, I'll consider it like this. So if it's less than 0.5 second and it cannot be cut in the middle, it's very difficult to make a separate segment, then you can simply ignore it. Don't write anything and don't add any tag for this. Just move on with your transcription. Make it simple. But if it's more than 0.5 second, I'll imagine that from up till here, this was laughter. Then I have to cut it. It's difficult and it's a little bit kind of, you're gonna need to make very clean connected segments, but you're gonna have to do it like that. Let me show you how it's done. I'll move it back till here. Let's say
Okay.
the laughter starts exactly from this point. So I start from here, and if it ends up till here, or maybe here, I'll leave it like
My
this,
specialist
and then I will make the next speech segment like this.
subject. It's your.
It's guys, basically, it's pretty much the same thing which I did, but we're just considering that the laughter is more squeezed within the speech, or it's a little bit more independent in both ways. In both cases, you need to cut it out in the middle if it's more than 0.5 second. If it's not, then you can simply ignore it. And because the reason is, yeah, this is a good point to explain. Because the reason is why we can ignore it if it's too much squeezed and less than 0.5 seconds. Because although the laughter tag is independent, but it's also obvious. So if the situation comes where it's very hard to cut it out from the middle and it's less than 0.5 seconds, in that situation, you can simply ignore it. Don't do anything at all for that. मेरा मैं आपको ये चीज थोड़ी सी इस तरह से समझा देता हूँ कि लाफ्टर और वर्ड्स जो है ना, उनके बीच में कोई ना कोई क्लीन वाला पार्ट लाजमी आता ही आता है। ठीक है, जो बोलते हुए इस तरह करके हंसते हुए बोलते हैं ना, उसको हम लाफ्टर कंसिडर नहीं करेंगे। ठीक है। वो अगर 0.5 सेकंड से ज्यादा भी आप उसको छोड़ दें, आप उसके लिए टैग बेशक मत डालें। ठीक है, आप उस पर जो मेन स्पीच बोली जा रही है वही बोलें। लेकिन अगर एक बंदा हंस रहा है ना, तो वो अपनी हंसी कहीं पर रोकेगा और फिर अपनी बात शुरू करेगा। नो मैटर वो कितनी स्पीड में ये काम कर जाता है, लेकिन आपको वो क्लीन पॉइंट बीच में लाजमी मिल ही जाएगा जहां पे आप उसको काट दें और आगे से अपना स्पीच सेगमेंट जो है वो उसको कंटिन्यू कर दें। ठीक है। हाँ, अगर कोई बहुत ज्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सिचुएशन आ जाती है जिसमें आपको बिल्कुल भी समझ नहीं आ रहा कि अब ये मिक्स भी हो रहा है, कट भी नहीं रहा, क्या हो रहा है, किस तरह हो रहा है, तो उस सिचुएशन में आप बेशक ग्रुप में मुझे टैग कर दें या उस टाइम पे मुझे बुला लें जूम पे ही आके। हम उस सिचुएशन को सामने देख भी लेंगे और उसका कोई ना कोई हल हम उसी टाइम पे जगह पे निकाल भी लेंगे, ताकि वो चीज़ भी आपको भी समझ में आ जाए। अगर ऐसी सिचुएशन आती है, बट आई एम प्रिटी श्योर, 99% मैं श्योर हूँ कि ऐसी सिचुएशन नहीं आएगी कि लाफ्टर और वर्ड्स के बीच में से आपको क्लीन पॉइंट ना मिल रहा हो। Okay, so moving back to our tags explanation. So guys, whichever tag has written independent over it, which means PII, wherever PII comes, it means within your valid second, you need to stop your valid segment, make another segment on that part where PII is being spoken, and use the tag, don't transcribe it. Same goes for your NPS tag. Same goes for your system tag, but if the system sound that is coming in your audio, if it's within the speech and less than 0.5 seconds, just ignore it. If it's more, then the same rule applies that you have to stop your valid segment, make another segment for that part, use the tag, close that segment, start another segment from beyond that point. Your overlap tag is the only tag that you can use within the text, which means if there is overlapping inside your speech part, then you don't need to make a separate segment for that. You can simply use that tag. We can see it on the, for example, if it's a valid speech, we've chosen it to one. You can see I cannot add any other tag in this part till the time the option is set to one, but the overlapping tag is the only tag which I can add in a valid segment. Okay. Next up is your, sorry. Next up is your unintelligible words tag, which is basically used when you cannot understand a word. Same situation. Whenever you have to use this tag, you have to make a separate segment for that. Doesn't matter if it's 0.5 seconds, less than 0.5 seconds, or more than 0.5 seconds. If one word, even one word is unintelligible and you need to use the tag, the segment should be made separately. ठीक है गाइज, अनइंटेलिजिबल वर्ड कोई हो जो आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा, क्लियर नहीं है, और आपने ये टैग यूज करना है, तो जहां भी आपने ये टैग यूज करना होगा उसका सेगमेंट आपके लिए आपको सेपरेट ही बनाना पड़ेगा। इसको भी आप टेक्स्ट वाले सेगमेंट के अंदर यूज नहीं कर सकते। लाफ्टर टैग हमने ऑलरेडी डिस्कस कर लिया है। SONANT टैग, अब ये भी इंडिपेंडेंट भी है और ऑब्वियस भी है, यानी कि जहां पे भी ये टैग यूज होना होगा इसका सेगमेंट जो है हमेशा सेपरेट बनेगा। ऑब्वियस भी लगा हुआ है, तो इसलिए अगर ये चीज भी 0.5 सेकंड तक आती है तो हम सेगमेंट बना देंगे। अगर 0.5 सेकंड से कम है तो हम इसको जो है, अगर क्लीन जगह में मिलती है तो हम सेगमेंट बना के टैग डाल देंगे, क्लीन जगह नहीं मिलती तो हम इसको इग्नोर कर देंगे। म्यूजिक है, तो okay guys, for SONANT tag, this is basically when your main speaker is coughing, sneezing, or clearing their throat. As we can see, this is also an independent tag, so it means whenever we are going to use this tag, the segment needs to be made separately. And if it's less than 0.5 seconds, in that situation we can ignore it. Otherwise we have to make the segment and put the tag over here on that place. Same goes for music. If it's less than 0.5 seconds within the speech, ignore it. If it's separate and more than 0.5 seconds, make a separate segment. If it's merged within the speech and more than 0.5 seconds, make the segment separately and then use this tag. And the same thing goes for the ENS tag. This is basically whenever you hear some noise. So this one, uh, whenever you hear something between the words, just make the segment for that and do it. If you hear it mixed with a word, then ignore it, because if it's mixed with a word, definitely it's going to be less than 0.5 seconds. सेगमेंट में अगर ऐसी आवाज है जो ना कोई पर्सन की है ना ही मशीन की है तो एनपीएस टैग लगेगा? नहीं। मेरा इसके लिए ये बेसिकली फिर अगर आपको ये भी नहीं, मतलब उसमें ना वो किसी बंदे की आवाज है और ना वो किसी मशीन की आवाज है, तो इट मीन्स कि इट्स एन इंडिपेंडेंट एम्बिएंट नॉइज। ठीक है। तो उसके लिए आप ई एन एस का टैग यूज करते हैं, उसके लिए फिर आप सिस्टम का टैग नहीं यूज करते और एनपीएस का टैग नहीं यूज करते। एनपीएस आप सिर्फ तब यूज करते हैं जब मेन स्पीकर के अलावा आपको किसी और इंसान की कोई बैकग्राउंड में आवाज आई है। ठीक है, समझ आई है या नहीं आई डजेंट मैटर, लेकिन किसी और इंसान की आवाज थी मेन स्पीकर के अलावा, तो तब आप एनपीएस यूज करते हैं। वरना अगर कोई ऐसी आवाज है जो ना मशीन की आवाज है और ना इंसान की आवाज है, तो वहां पे ई एन एस टैग यूज होता है। So guys, I hope that the difference is clear in your mind, that whenever you are supposed to be using an independent tag, this option you can also understand better from the platform, that you see the classification. Speaker label, you can use it with the text. No speaker label, you need to make a separate segment for these tags. Okay? All right, I'm
So
gonna
my
just
specialist subject.
return it to
It's
its
yours.
normal.
Now, I remember learning about history in school. To be honest with you, okay, all right. So history. Now,
ठीक है गाइज, ये टैग यूजेज में किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम हो अभी भी, या कोई टैग्स, तो फिर सभी इंडिपेंडेंट ही यूज होंगे। यस, आपके जितने भी ये टैग्स हैं, टैग्स के लिए आपका सेगमेंट अलग बनेगा। सिर्फ ओवरलैप का टैग ऐसा है जो आप स्पीच के अंदर यूज कर सकते हैं। सो गाइज, ओनली द ओवरलैप टैग इज द टैग विच यू कैन यूज विद इन द स्पीच, विद इन द टेक्स्ट। अदर देन दैट, whichever tag you are going to use, you have to make the separate segment for that tag. Otherwise, you won't be able to use it. So, guys, this tags explanation, is it understood to everyone? Can you all please confirm? Because this is something also, now this I consider that is, if this mistake has happened too many times in your task, maybe it's my mistake as well, because I missed it in the training parts. But I hope after this explanation, everything is clear. Guys, everybody, please confirm in the chat if you understood or still need any more explanation on these tags. Okay, guys, so I guess the rules are now, I'm hoping that everybody has understood to a very good extent, even the people who did not. Okay, so if we merge segment and they exceed from 15 seconds, how we can remove some part of the audio. Okay. गुड़िया, उस सिचुएशन में जो है ना, आपको सेगमेंट को ड्रैग करके पीछे लेके जाना पड़ेगा जहां तक आपको कोई कंप्लीट, फॉर एग्जांपल मैं कहता हूँ कि यहाँ पे कोई ऐसा पॉइंट आ रहा था जहाँ पे सेंटेंस को कंप्लीट कंसिडर किया जा सके, तो मैं इसको ड्रैग करके पीछे लाऊंगा और इसके ऊपर फिर मुझे दोबारा से नया सेगमेंट बना के इसको ट्रांसक्राइब करना पड़ेगा। या आप जब रिमूव करने लगते हैं तो रिमूव करते हुए वो टेक्स्ट यहाँ से कट कर लें, नया सेगमेंट बना के उसके अंदर पेस्ट कर दें। सो गाइज, इफ यू accidentally your segment duration exceeded 15 seconds, then how to remove it is that you have to drag the endpoint back to a point where you can find a place where the sentence is complete. And the remaining part, you have to make a new segment over that and write down the text, or you can just copy it from here and paste it in the new segment. Okay, I'm also going to show you, like, again, just gonna assume. Okay, let's do it like this, because probably it's gonna happen when you're going to merge segments, so it's accidentally going to exceed the limit. Let's
okay,
do
all
it.
right. So history.
Now, after merging, I can see now the duration is 18 seconds and the maximum allowed is 15 seconds. So I'm going to listen to this audio and I'm going to decide a point where I can end my first segment.
Okay, all right. So history. Now, um, of course, this is not my specialist subject. It's yours, so we'll go with it. Now, I remember learning about history in school. To be honest with you, I don't really remember too much about the contents of it, but I always did find it quite fascinating.
Okay, so before this, now normally our segment was also made this way, and it makes more sense to stop it over here because this is a complete speech and it doesn't make sense to break it here, here, or anywhere here. Then the sentence would be broken into half. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to copy this extra text, Control C, or yeah, I can simply press Control X, and then I'm going to drag my endpoint back up till here.
Okay, all right. So history.
Okay. This is my one segment complete. Now for the next part, I can do it like
Now,
this
I remember learning about history in.
and put the text back. This is how basically you can reverse if you have accidentally combined so many segments that it exceeded 15 seconds limit. I think it says honestly about it. Mm, Javiria, you mean in the second segment or the first one? Okay, let's listen to it again.
Now, I remember learning about history in school. To be honest with you,
Javier, I think he's speaking in too much speed, but he's saying, to be honest, like this. To be honest, yeah, it's not honestly. To be honest, basically is what he's
I
saying.
remember learning about history in school. To be honest with you, 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 to be honest.
Okay, so the B word is a little bit squeezed in, and it's speaking in speed. So I think it's to be honest, not honestly. And there should be a B over here. This is basically what I think is written, but depending on what you're hearing, if maybe I'm making a mistake, you can also correct it if you think it's otherwise. Okay, so guys, the training part from my side is pretty much complete. And yeah, I also think it's to be honest. So the training part from my side, guys, is complete. Now, a few instructions to keep in mind. Ah, yeah, guys, one more exciting feature which you can use if you're not able to understand something. You can also change the playback speed from over here. You can slow it down if you cannot understand something. Also, you can speed it up, which I'm pretty sure is not a very good option to speed up because then you're going to miss a lot of things. But if at any point you need to slow it down, you have the playback speed option over here. You can set it to 0.75 and listen to that part, and hopefully it will help understanding. So guys, now the training part from my side is complete. I hope the rules and everything is more clear to everyone. And now a few instructions and basically the course of action, which is going to happen now. I'm going to guide you guys about it. The first thing is, when will the new data be uploaded? So the new data will not be uploaded until we have cleared our previous task, which means QA has checked, sent back to the main workers have fixed it, and QA has submitted it. Till the time we're not going to get new data. And we only have these 2 days to make that happen. So whenever QA is going to send the work back on any main work ID, so if at any point a QA ID is sending some task back for the rework, we will announce in the groups that this ID has a rework task, and the workers should immediately start working on that task. Follow the instructions, follow the what kind of what kind of error has been marked, and we've already discussed which error means what. If it's a text error, then it means missing words, missing modal sounds, wrong words, repeated words are missing, or capitalization is missed. If it's a label error, it means the classification of valid or invalid is wrong, or you have used a wrong tag. So based on that, it's not that you just fix the segment where you get the error. It means you have to review your whole task for those kind of errors. Okay. And as you keep fixing it, after fixing, submit it, and the same way you will notify us in the group that you have submitted your rework task. So we also know that reworks are being done and they're being submitted. Now, what happens if you don't attend your rework in time? So guys, we're really short on time and it's going to keep delaying the data upload for us. Um, so we really don't have any other option. If you're delaying the rework too much, we will not have any other option but to give your ID to somebody else to fix it and keep the ID for working further, which means you're going to lose the chance to even fix your task or continue on the project. So whenever your rework is posted, you immediately need to respond and you immediately need to start working on it. Don't spend too much time because now most of the work is done. You only have to fix your mistakes. So it should not take more than maybe if this task is what was the total duration of this task? Yeah, it's like something around 32 minutes task. It should not take you more than 2 hours or maybe 1.5 hours just to fix the mistakes. So no excuses are going to be taken and no excuses are going to be entertained because we really don't have the option right now to do it. A lot of data is pending for us to QA, send you back, and you need to fix it in time and submit it. As soon as you do, once this backlog is cleared, new data will be uploaded, and you have to make sure that these mistakes are not happening again and again. Okay, try to improve yourself. That is the only thing you can improve. What we can do is we can guide you, we can train you, which we are still doing, and we will do it again if needed. But eventually, it's not going to have any effect until the time you're focusing on it yourself. So make sure, guys, okay, we said it, and still we agree that the text is too much accurate. Normally, in any project, you don't get this much accurate text from the machine, but it has mistakes, and your job is to fix all of those mistakes. If the machine was 100% accurate, then there was absolutely no need for any of us to be working. मतलब न्यू डेटा QC के बाद मिलेगा। जी मेरा गाइज ये सारों के लिए है कि ये जो अभी तक ये जब तक हम ये डेटा क्लियर नहीं करते, क्लाइंट ने जो है न्यू डेट अपलोड जो है वो रोक के रखी हुई है, वो डेटा अपलोड नहीं करेंगे नया। ठीक है, जब तक हम ये सारा क्लियर नहीं कर देते। तो इसमें आप लोगों के पास करने के लिए काम डेफिनेटली होगा। क्यूए जो है, क्यूए लगातार आपका काम जो है वो चेक करता जाएगा। जो चीज़ क्वालिफाइड बनती है डेफिनेटली हम उसको क्वालिफाई करके सबमिट कर देंगे। उसका हमें भी शौक नहीं है कि हम फजूल में आपको वो टास्क वापस भेज के मजीद उसके ऊपर टाइम ज़ाया करवाएं। लेकिन जो चीज़ ठीक नहीं होगी वो आपके पास रीवर्क में आएगी। Okay, zero, guys, on the screen, if you're
Um,
seeing my
yeah.
screen,
So
this zero means it's invalid and this one means it's valid. Valid means only speech, only text. Invalid means labels, silences, mute parts, and everything. Okay, guys, everything is clear, understood? Yes, Guria, you can ask your question, no problem. बाकी guys, अगर चीजें क्लियर हैं जिन जिनको तो वो लीव कर सकते हैं। अ, गुड़िया, मैं आपके क्वेश्चन के ऊपर आता हूँ। दानियाल का थोड़ा सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है। अगर हंसते हुए कोई बोल रहा है तो आपको अगर स्पीच समझ में आ रही है आप सिर्फ स्पीच लिख दें, टैग डालने की जरूरत नहीं है। अच्छा, आपका जो है जो क्वेश्चन है गुड़िया के, अगर वैलिड पार्ट के अंदर, जैसे आप कह रही हैं कि अगर फॉर एग्जांपल मैं आपको स्क्रीन दोबारा से शेयर करके दिखा देता हूँ। बेसिकली आप कह रही हैं कि फॉर एग्जांपल ये जिस तरह पार्ट एक वैलिड स्पीच के अंदर आया हुआ है और ये साइलेंट है, इसका क्या करना है? यही क्वेश्चन है आपका? तो देखें, जब तक ये पार्ट 0.8 सेकंड से छोटा है तो ये इंक्लूडेड रहेगा, इसको हमें जीरो करने की जरूरत नहीं है, ये वन ही रहेगा। Okay, there's another question about punctuations, that where to use commas, and technically this question leads to the next part, where to use comma and where to use full stop. So guys, depends on the speech. Whenever a speaker is taking some short pauses, or like you can say jerks while speaking, or small pauses, or normally where you feel like you as the rules of grammar there should be a comma here, you add a comma. Where they're completing their speech, at that place you should put a full stop. तो अरुज, जो आपका क्वेश्चन है, मे बी आप अगर ये देख के कह रही हैं कि इधर बहुत ज्यादा कॉमास लगे हुए हैं, ठीक है, तो कभी कभी बंदा जो है वो इस तरह से बोलता है कि या सो वी स्पेंड 30 मिनट्स, सो वी माइट वांट टू जस्ट call it bring it on to bring it to an end here। ठीक है, अगर तो वो ऐसे बोल रहा हो ना, तो फिर तो उसने वाकई में बहुत ज्यादा पॉजेस दिए हैं, तो उन जगहों के ऊपर आप कॉमे लगा रहे हैं। ठीक है, लेकिन यहाँ पे जो है ये कॉल इट जो उसने बोला है ना, अभी मैंने ऑडियो नहीं सुनी, लेकिन आई एम प्रिटी श्योर कि यहाँ पे कॉमे की जरूरत नहीं है। तो जहाँ पे कॉमे की एक्चुअल जरूरत होती है वहां पे लगाना होता है। हैदर, जब दो लोग आपस में बात कर रहे हो, मतलब वो कर रहे होते हैं, एक ही टाइम के ऊपर बात कर रहे होते हैं ना, और हमें समझ नहीं आ रही, तो दैट मीन्स बेसिकली इट्स ओवरलैपिंग। तो जहां पे भी ओवरलैपिंग आ रही होगी, उधर वैलिड सेगमेंट के अंदर ही विदाउट उसको जीरो किए या विदाउट उसका अलहदा से सेगमेंट बनाए, आप सिंपली ये वाला टैग यूज कर सकते हैं, ये वाला वैलिड का, इसका ओवरलैपिंग का है। ठीक है, और ये वाहिद टैग है जो आप वैलिड स्पीच के अंदर भी यूज कर सकते हैं, इसके लिए आपको सेगमेंट अलहदा नहीं बनाना पड़ता। ठीक है गाइज, कोई और क्वेश्चन या कोई चीज? गाइज, एनीथिंग यू वांट फर्दर एक्सप्लेनेशन, और इफ एवरीथिंग इज क्लियर, then this is pretty much it from my side. ठीक हो गया गाइज, आई थिंक क्वेश्चंस काफी सारे जो थे वो क्लियर हैं। रिकॉर्डिंग ऑफ द सेशन भी प्रोवाइडेड। Yeah, okay, guys, I will share the recording once it's uploaded. Right now, once I end this meeting, it's gonna take some time to the for upload. Once it's uploaded, I will send you guys the link so you can also review any part of the discussion which you want to review again. So hopefully, we will not have too many issues in the data from here onward. And you guys have understood how the QC process is going to work for the next 2 days and how much you guys need to be active. And I hope that you guys do stay active to fix everything and we can start getting the new data. So, guys, thank you so much for coming and wish you all best of luck and take care. Bye bye.